hard to get through this gap. Okay, if that's the case, you can go under the elbow here. Usually if you go under the elbow without actually capturing the hand, then you want to take it more like forward, like this. I kind of lever it up towards his head as opposed to like trying to go outwards. So like if you fight that, very hard to go outwards here, but I can kind of get my chest behind and I can drive forward and take it more like above his head that way. So if you ever capture just the elbow, that's usually how we trap it. And this works pretty much the same. Sucks for Mish, he'll eventually probably straighten his arm back into being in front. Okay. Alright, so once we get to mount, we'll just finish with the head arm. That's been a big theme this week. So we had the arm above the head, like so, and I'm going to try and get the arm to the other side of the head. Alright, so I connect, my left hand will grip onto the tricep here, just so it's a little more difficult for Mish to remove that. As I take my hand back, lock the tricep, and I'm going to put my head to the other side now. Right. Now the first thing you should notice here with the head arm is I'm way too high to actually get any sort of choke. My biceps pretty much across his face or head, so it's going to be very difficult to choke here. I'm going to have to make an adjustment. I want to get my left hand nice and low. Okay, so I essentially want my bicep coming across the chest, and then I want to put my weight coming down from down to up. Okay, not from the face downwards, because he can always, I won't do it hard, but if he tucks his chin, I'm here and I try to drop down, I'll never get on the neck. But if I put my shoulder lower than the chin, I can start to fall into the neck a lot better. All right, so once my head's on the other side of the arm, I'm going to pull Mish to the side, so I've got room with my arm. Right now I can't adjust my arm. I'm going to fall to the side and I'm going to reach this arm deep, as deep through as you can, and you want to get low down on the shoulder, like this. So you see my hand and shoulder are both lower than the line of his head. Okay. You can see I fall to the side and I reach deep. Right. So to get the actual choke, I want this part of my elbow chopping into his neck, so that when I sprawl, I kind of drop down and my bicep will land across the neck here. Okay. If you have a gap where your elbow is and the neck's just here, it won't choke. Okay. You want it like jammed in here, so we can drop. When we drop down, we actually choke through that space. So I lean to the side, I reach deep, and I connect my hands. Right. Now, let's just think about, let's assume I got my arms in good position to actually choke. How's Mish going to escape here? All right. If he can turn to face away, so if he rolls back and looks this way, it's going to be impossible to choke. Okay. Even if I keep my hands connected, it's going to be very difficult to choke here. So I want to stop that by putting my hands together underneath the shoulder blade. As he rolls flat, that will keep him somewhat from rolling further. Okay, it's like a little block there. I see a lot of people doing this above the shoulder, which allows the shoulder to drop. Okay, so don't put your hands above the shoulder. If you can, put them underneath the shoulder blade. Okay, a little lower. The other thing is Mish might reach his arm above the head, which I'm not blocking right now. Yeah, if he reaches up, he can roll back, or even just gets the arm to the other side, or he reaches above his head and rolls flat again, and it's hard for me to actually cinch up the choke. So as soon as we get our arm deep and connect to the hands, I want to start putting my head next to Mish's head. I've got my shoulder low, but I can start coming forward now, and it's almost like a little bit of a tripod here. Okay, now if he tries to free that arm, I'm like driving off my feet, head next to his head. Right, now I feel like I've blocked that arm with my head. I start to get off. I'm going to sprawl. Feel good, Mish? Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to sprawl my hips, like so, and just flick my foot out to side control like this. See how it keeps my hips low? And I'm kind of sagging my hips. I can fall into the choke there. All right. So what I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to get off like this, okay? I'm coming too high with my hips, I'm losing pressure on the neck, all right? So once you connect and you drive like in and low in this tripod, like this, now I'm gonna sprawl my hips so I'm very heavy already. I'm already choking, and I just flick off, which can add a bit more pressure. Okay. So the last little bit of pressure in the choke, if you imagine the biceps, the thing that's gonna choke, I can kind of drive if I'm low enough and I drive like here, it pushes his, like I'm using my hand, I obviously wouldn't be using my hand, I'm using my head and my body when I do this, but I'm gonna push his head and shoulders into the choke this way. Okay. So when I've got this nice and low, I can drive off my foot and his weight pushing this way. You need to be low with that. If you go too high, then you just like tilt them again. So again, I'm gonna land with the arm above the head, get our arm deep. We're going to grip the arm, block, head to the other side of the arm. All right. Pull him up to the side, adjust your grip, connect your hands below the shoulder blade. From here, I'm going to I want to stop this arm from recovering, so I'm going to bring my head forward, tilt it around the corner in a bit of a tripod here, somewhat. And then I start to sprawl back, flick off, and I start to drop my shoulder down. Make sure your elbow's not lifting. If your elbow's lifting, you're probably using too much of an arm squeeze. I want your body weight sprawling with your elbow low to be the main mechanism of the choke. Right. Let's have a go. 3, 2, 1.